Welcome to Women in Paint. Whether your paint story is dripless or an old school mix of project management, business ownership, or modern estimation, the stories of women in paint are now part of the industry's rising success. We'll educate, encourage, and promote diversity and gender equality by giving you a behind-the-scenes look at our proven skills, business acumen, and driving force that propels anyone to find meaningful opportunities and a career path that challenges lives through paint. Now let's welcome your host, Michael Cheney.
Welcome back to the show. I've got one of my newfound favorite people on, Toby Sanders, also known as Coach Toby, right? That's what I see there. Because you are a coach, you're a decorative finisher, you're a former woman in tech, and now you're a woman in paint. You're wearing all the hats. Toby, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you for having me again. I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, you know what? Your audio is a little low. I don't know what it is, but that's okay. We are, this is what happens.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. We're good to go. So here's what we're going to talk about today. So Toby is a decorative finisher, right? She does decorative painting and just does the coolest things ever. And I'm a painting contractor, right? So what I've discovered over the last couple of years is that there are my customers, current customers of mine, who really want the skill set that Toby has, right? It's not a skill set my team has. Now we're learning and we're trying to get there, but Toby's got years of experience in this industry. And we're going to talk today about how contractors like me can partner with decorative painters like Toby, and how it's really another segue of your business and how we can help each other grow, help each other be successful. And so I'm super pumped about this. So let's start out with what it is you do, Toby, because you've got a couple of different cool things going on. You've got the decorative painting, you've got a coaching service, a super cool platform. Give us an overview of that in case someone missed the other episode.
All right. Like you said, I'll start from the beginning because there's so much. But my biggest passion right now is my coaching program. So I do have a coaching program for interior designers, artists, and just the everyday, 9 to 5er that's like a super creative person who wants to get into this industry. And I also do custom art. So I'm a fine artist, and you can find all of that at Bloomingdale's. That's been a great experience as well, working with them and having them support me as an individual artist. And finally, I actually sit on the board of IDAL, which is the best organization for decorative painters. So those are just a few of the things that I do.
Yeah. So just a few things. Sit on the board, have my artwork in Bloomingdale's. Yeah, just a few things. So you know what? Let's build out IDAO. I was fortunate enough to attend an IDAO event on behalf of the PCA, and I loved every moment of it. For those that don't know what IDAO is, give us the rundown. What is the organization all about?
So IDAL means International Decorative Artisans League, and it is the number one organization for faux finishers or decorative painters here in the U.S. We actually have members internationally as well. But the organization, we have about 1,000 members now, active members, and we do a yearly convention, for our organization. But it's mainly just to show decorative artists, decorative painters how to grow and thrive in this business. Like solely, this is what you want to do for a living. And so we really foster the idea of, becoming a business owner, and really doing this because, you have this genuine love for art and design and painting. And if you can get up and do that every day and make a great living, you're golden.
Right. When I went to the event, and it was in St. Louis. The cool thing, and it was a little bit different than other events that I've been to, because you guys really do like the hands-on stuff. So if you wanted to get a certification, and one of the girls that was with me got the certification in the metallization class, right? Like we left there with a certification, a new skill set under our belt. And so it was very hands-on. Maybe just shed some light on that. What is IDAO's approach to that? And how do you guys like foster that and keep that piece of the event going on?
Well, I definitely say that is the major piece of the event. That is why people even join the organization, because we always stay ahead of the game in regards to the techniques, the finishes that are being taught. We always make sure we have the latest and the greatest at every convention so that you can be ahead of the trend and take these techniques, like you said, even get certified. But when you leave convention, you leave our events, you come home, you're ahead of the game, you're in front of everybody else in your city and town, and you actually have live samples, real, samples in your portfolio and sell. So that is the biggest part of the organization. Like once you join, we do all the things business. You even can get your business insured. But then we definitely foster throughout the year the creativity and the things that you should be learning and
Yeah.
can learn. And hopefully that, you'll enjoy all of the things that are involved in owning, this type of business. But that is our biggest thing. And we showcase our members monthly, every month. So it's not, an organization where you never know anybody. When we go to, I don't know if you realized it, but at convention, everyone knows everyone all the
Yeah.
time. Like we're so excited to get to convention because that's the only time we're all together as decorative artists, and that's very rare.
I did pick up on that. It's a really special community. You know what? You talked about the samples, and you're right. We left with really cool samples of the work that was done. And as a matter of fact, even the way that you all or this particular class did their samples, we've changed the way that we now do our samples in the business because of the idea that we got from the event. So it's super.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, geez, man, just an amazing event. But listen, we're talking about samples. Let's pull out your samples real quick because I want to give an overview when we're talking about decorative painting, decorative finishers. What is that? What exactly are we talking about? We're just going to recap that, and then we're going to talk about how the contractor can partner with a decorative finisher, and we can, have a great system here together. So, what samples do you have today?
Well, I love to share my work. Like this is these are my perks every day.
Okay.
But yeah, as decorative artists, we always master the more traditional finishes. This is gold leaf. And we always master things like that because, your client can be ultra modern, contemporary, down to super, traditional. So we always kind of master a wider range of things in our portfolio. Um, always keep around architectural coatings. And this is a builder's dream. It can solve all kind of issues on a wall.
Mm.
So just as a decorative artist, we can actually come in and, resolve some of the issues that a builder may be having with their walls. And some of the more trendier finishes is mica.
I love that one.
Yeah. So if you like sparkle, and these are also considered architectural coatings as well.
Okay.
So being a decorative artist opens you up to a wide range of, techniques, things, even your services are astronomical, right? You're not just, producing one thing and selling one thing. You kind of can get in there and kind of fix a little bit of everything if you're working with the builder, if you're in a homeowner's residential space, like you could be all over the house, for a month.
Mhm. Yeah. So all those different finishes, let's just throw out some other names like the Venetian plaster, Roman clay, the limewash. What are some other things that I'm missing there?
Any Italian plasters like Marmarino or
Yeah.
Tintoretto, anything that has a heavy body to it is super popular right now. The trend is sands and linen tones and very light, airy feels right now. A lot of times, like if you're doing artwork, you could use resin. So resin is
Mm,
still very popular in our industry. So most people know it as like epoxy as well.
okay.
That you would do cabinets and excuse me, flooring and countertops with. But there's a lot of things. Glass. There's diamond glass, which is sprayed on. They're still glazing. It's still super popular, like you said. So yeah, it's a lot of different companies that have beautiful, beautiful textures and techniques, that are out there today.
Yeah. So if someone like me who's in the paint industry and we're just used to the boring old putting paint on walls, we don't have the skill set to do all this cool stuff. How can I like stay up to date on what's trendy in this world? I don't know. Do you have like a website or social media? Is there like what do we follow? I know we can follow you. Maybe you give us your Instagram, but how do we keep up to date if we're not really like connected in that world yet?
Yeah, that's interesting because you almost have to be in the know to even know what's
Okay.
trending right now. And a lot of times you find that out through your interior designers, right?
Okay.
But what
Yeah.
if you don't have a designer? So, I always tell people Google textured walls, get on Pinterest. It doesn't cost anything to have a Pinterest account. And normally on Pinterest, you will see the latest and the greatest techniques.
Mhm.
Things are out, things are coming back, like limewash. So yeah, just Googling Pinterest probably would be my biggest go-to if I were
Yeah.
looking, for a decorative artist.
Okay, good deal. So, what I want to say, my experience with decorative artists, and I'm really just starting to get connected with them, and that's really because of IDAO. But what I've discovered over the last couple of years is I would have designers. You mentioned designers, and you're right about this. The designers are usually ahead of the trends. They are a little more willing to take risk. They're in the know, right? They understand what's out there and what's available. And I've had designers over the last several years come to me and say, can you do this? Can you do Venetian plaster? Can you? And, for a while it was like, no. And we were getting asked more and more often. So I started to think like, okay, we're missing something here. They can't find anybody to do this work. They're already our customer. They want us to do it. Maybe we need to explore what these finishes are. I'll say the same thing happened with wallpaper, even though wallpaper might not be considered a decorative finish. We kind of throw it in that category. So we had customers asking for it, and so we said, well, we need to figure this out. And then the question is, well, how do you figure it out? How do you price it out? Right? It's another avenue stream of business that you can roll into your painting company, and it pairs well, right? We're all in the painting industry, really. It's
Right.
just that you folks have this different skill set than what we're used to seeing. But what I'll say is the work is out there. I now have commercial folks, contractors that are reaching out to us because the word got out that we do this stuff. And in the commercial setting, I feel like this stuff has always in some capacity been popular. Like, I don't know if it faded away and then it came back strong, but it seems like, it's being revived on the residential front. It's been around in the commercial setting. The challenge is finding someone to do it. And Toby, correct me if I'm wrong, but I view your industry similar to wallpaper in terms of there was a time when lots of not maybe not lots is not the right word, but when people did faux finishing and then they kind of got older and then there was like this stigma attached to it's like an old craft. It's not popular. But the truth is the people that I met that do this are people like you who are, really cool, really trendy. And so it seems like there's been like this revival of decorative painting. Is that accurate, would you say?
I feel like that is accurate. I feel like it was super popular, rag rolling, sponging, and then it kind
Exactly.
of died out and died away. And then it just came back. Like, the brands and the companies started producing these beautiful plasters filled with mica powder, different things like that. Venetian has always been around, but we tend to like transcend how Venetian looks and works. Like now they're using Venetian plaster to make these crazy marble,
Mhm.
patterned walls that almost look like a slab of marble that's just
Yeah.
been flown in. Where when I first started doing Venetian, that wasn't a thing.
Okay.
So I do feel like the industry, constantly recreates itself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. I love it. So what I'm seeing is designers asking for it, commercial GCs, And then slowly but surely, I feel like our residential folks are starting to ask for it. Is that what you see on your end of the end client? Who's the end client that you're finding?
My end client is typically just the residential client. As far as like people who are kind of already into it, if they have a designer, and then I'll get the commercial side coming in after that.
Yeah.
But a lot of my work is on the residential side for sure.
Yeah. And I want to say that usually people that are wanting to do this on the residential side are people with money. Like this is a high price point, a high
Yeah.
ticket item. And so folding it into your painting business, to me, it's been a no brainer if you've already got the client base that wants it. Okay. So what does the partnership look like between a contractor and someone like you? Do you have contractors that you currently work with? Do you have designers? Like what opportunity are you seeing there? And then I'll tell you about what I've kind of done lately to build my connections.
So I do have relationships with contractors and designers as well. With contractors, they normally call me in on the front side of things, right? Because they're either trying to resolve something or they want to put up a plaster that's gonna, I don't know, fix some nail bumps or cracks or
Mm,
something like that. And a lot of times those jobs, they're usually like renovation as
yeah.
well. That type of thing where the walls are just in really bad shape, but they want it to look good, they want it to look trendy, and they don't want to have to like come in and knock walls up and put them back up, knock them down and put them back up. And then it's in regards to my designers, they typically are in a space either for a while, and I've had designers where they'll call me in, we'll do something, and then 5 years later they'll call me back and we'll redo the
Mhm.
same stuff. So I do definitely try to, keep up with my all of them actually, the contractors, the designers. Often touch base with them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what my experience has been is that, we've had customers contact us, and we'll go look at a project. And while we're there, they'll say, "Hey, do you know anyone that can do this finish?" And they'll show us a picture on the ceiling, right? This just happened at a big hotel down here in downtown Columbus. We went in for just what we thought was a basic painting estimate, and lo and behold, they are asking for this really cool decorative finish. Now, because I had already gone to IDAL, the event, I'm like, I actually think I might know what that is. So the answer is yes, we do it. We are your people. And then here's how this played out. So they wanted a bid for it. Well, truth be told, we weren't sure how to bid it. We've never done this. I don't know what it takes to do this type of work. So I reached out to my connection at IDAL, and what they do, they connected me with someone, a decorative painter who does work in Columbus, Ohio, right? And they weren't in Columbus. I think maybe they were in Cincinnati, and they were willing to travel for the job. So we reached out to this woman, and she helped me with pricing. She said, "Here's what I'm going to charge. You do what you want with this information, but here's what I'm going to charge." And she gave me two different options based on the pictures. She gave some suggestions. And then, if we got far along in the process, she was going to provide samples and stuff. So what I was able to do was I was able to take the details she gave me about the application and the products and all that good stuff. I was able to put it in my bid. Of course, we had a markup on there. And then I got to present it, and I got to rest assured that, if we do the project, I've actually got someone who's going to be able to do it. We don't have to fumble through and try and figure it out ourselves. There are a lot of things we're willing to fumble through, but a ceiling in a hotel that looks like metal is not one of them. So it was really cool, and I was so thankful that I was able to find that connection. Now, speaking of IDAL, I know that IDAL has a portal on their website that can help with this. If you need a decorative finisher, can you just kind of tell us what that portal does, because it can connect you with someone to help you do
So
this job?
the portal is for us to find each other, right?
Yes.
So if I'm in Ohio, Or if I'm out in LA, it's for me to find, members in the organization because I may need help. Not all my
Yeah.
work is here in Atlanta. And it's also for our industry partners, such as designers, painting contractors. We do have other people in the industry that can come into IDEL, have a membership, and they can use the portal as well.
Okay,
So
very
it's called
cool.
Find a Pro.
Yeah, find a pro. So like for me, we in my business we have a split model with employees and subcontractors, and this would be no different than working with a subcontractor. I'm subbing the work out, right? So to me it's a no-brainer, and we want to build this out, and then we get to connect with the experts like you and make it happen. Do you have any suggestions on how you've connected with contractors in the past? Like do you have any suggestions on how you would find people like me? Do you go to networking events? How do they come across your path?
I do networking events. And then I just keep my ear to the ground when I'm out socially, meeting people, things like
Yeah.
that. A biggest thing for me as well is getting on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And it's almost like Googling. It's a little bit like Googling, but it's a little more robust because now you're in a space where you can literally just, search on painting contractors in this zip code or in this city. And it'll kick back, a list of people and you can reach out to those people. Sometimes I'll send a letter via email. Sometimes I'll just pick
Hmm.
up the phone and call if they're just close enough to my business. So I find that actually doing the organic, the marketing, I guess that's what you would call it, works the best for me.
Yeah, the other thing that decorative painters could do would be to attend the PCA Expo,
That
right?
is
I know IDAL has been involved in the past. IDAL was at our Women in Paint event that we had. It was amazing. But if you come to the PCA Expo, you're going to find people like me who you could connect with. So that would be another way. What I'll share is in terms of how I've found the people that want this work. One great resource for me has been the organization NARI. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but NARI, it's a national organization, but they have local chapters. So they have the Columbus, Ohio chapter, and NARI is where the designers and the high-end remodelers hang out. Okay. And so I started going to these meetings, became a member. For years, we were the only painting company there. And so I got to get a lot of FaceTime with the designers and the remodelers all in one place. And these are the folks that want this type of work, right? They want this creative, the textures, and all of these things. So for me, that has been like a huge resource. And so I know that you and I were even going to talk about more about networking and community. So I would say NARI, or there's other designer organizations that you can get involved in. But are there any other networking groups or that you're involved in, or how do you kind of facilitate this community building? What does that look like for you?
Well, here in Atlanta, ADAC is a big,
Hmm.
it's a big community surrounding there. And also our apparel mart. Um, so someone like me could be an industry partner and attend their local meetings, their after hours events, just the same thing that you were
Nice.
doing. So those are kind of the things that I do here in Atlanta as far as networking with, designers and contractors in that field.
Okay, good deal. We talked a little bit about like building your community. Do you have any more thoughts on that? I know that that's something that you really enjoy doing. You see a lot of value in it. What does that really mean to you when you talk about building your community?
Well, community is really how I've survived, over the past
Yeah.
20, 25 years. It's how I have built my business. And I add to my community even now, even today. It's just a really big thing to foster like genuine relationships with people, so that you're at the top of their mind, all the time. If something comes up, oh, let me call Toby. I think she might be able to, fix this or do this. So I have designers, painting contractors. Gosh, the guy that owns the company that I use for my base coats, I've been working with him for about 16 years now. So I really do feel like once you meet another business owner in this industry and the relationship is good, you need to hold on to that. I think that is
Yeah.
very, very important.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is our second episode together. And I always tell people like it goes so fast and we're nearing the end of our time. But before we wrap up, uh, I like to sometimes end with this question. It's a different question than what we had last time. But the question is, what are some things that you do to take care of yourself so that you can continue to show up, be a business owner, wear all the other hats that you're wearing in life. You've launched this coaching program with this really cool platform. And I know it's not easy. You're kind of pursuing another endeavor in life. Is there anything special you do to take care of yourself so that you can keep showing up for your students, your clients, and everyone else that counts on you?
Yeah, so this is going to seem really bad, but keep in mind, I don't have children. But one of the things I do is I just I disconnect, disconnect, and I'll just turn my ringer off. So like at night, maybe after about 10 o'clock, the ringer goes off. And then
Yeah.
of course I have my mom on emergency or my brother and his kids and things like that. But for the most part, I don't allow people to connect or call me late. I
Yeah.
think, I have banking hours. I've set these banking hours, and I just think as a sign of
Yeah.
respect, if I don't call you at 9, 10 o'clock asking questions, don't. So that's one of the things that I do. I really try to protect my peace and my energy in the evening. Another thing I do is in the morning, I get up early so that I can meditate, think about the day, pray, do all of those things. And then I do a little health thing. So I'll wear like my eye patches, I'll
Mhm.
use my gua sha, I'll massage. And then, that routine is about 30 minutes and then I'm good. Then I'm out the door, 8 o'clock, 8 a.m., starting my day. And I'm not mad at anybody. I'm relaxed. I'm recharged.
Right? Because you turn the ringer off, which I love, by the way. That's like a boundary.
Yeah.
And man, that you were speaking my language. I will actually go one step further. I will turn that thing off for the weekend. I will be like, peace out. I'll talk to you Monday. Like, unless it's an emergency, you are not, there is going to be no
Right.
text message response. But no, I love that. I think you're right. What you said that really lands with me is like protecting your peace. That is like, man, that's so essential.
Yeah.
So I love that. And then the morning routine. Sounds like
Yep,
you got a strong morning routine.
I do. What
You
about
get
me, baby?
you get to show up and not be mad.
Right.
And I love that. So I want you to share your contact information here in a moment, but is there anything that we missed, anything in terms of this relationship with the contractor and the decorative painter, anything else that you want to add, or I don't know, did we nail it?
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing when you are a painting contractor, just keep your options open, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with scaling your business and bringing in other opportunities or new opportunities. And I definitely think working with a decorative painter, a faux finisher in your area, I think that's a good thing to have in your service offering. So, and the only
Yeah.
reason I say that is because sometimes I do meet contractors or painting contractors and they're not really that, oh, they just kind of want to stay in their lane, because they don't
Yeah.
know anything about it. But there are so many professional decorative artists who are going to show up, do the job, do it great. Everybody gets paid, and that's it. The client's happy, they're happy, everybody's happy. So,
Yeah.
I just say keep your, mind open if you're trying to figure out another way to scale or add to your service offering.
Yep. And listen, it's not a lot of people do this. I mean,
Mhm.
and so like you do a good job for someone, you do a good job for a designer, and this is their thing. They like these decorative finishers, they're gonna keep coming back to you. They don't
Mhm.
have a lot of choices out there, is what I found. All right, Miss Toby, how can someone connect with you if they want to know more about your decorative painting academy? How do they find you? How they get in touch? How do they maybe even sign up to get
Okay.
started?
Well, you can find me always at thefoprosstudio.com. I have classes there. I sell my artwork there. And if you're really interested in this business, I would love for you guys to take my free training. And you can sign up at painttoprofits.com.
Awesome. And you know what? I kind of skipped over this because we talked about it a lot last time, but what do you do at the academy? I mean, I know you're teaching all the things, but why don't you give your recap on this? What are you teaching?
Well, this program is special because I really truly believe this is the only one of their kind. Of its kind. And I love what I'm doing there because I'm creating a community, number one. The members actually can come work with me on movie sets, residential projects, commercial, what have you. We meet weekly. So once a week, I sit down with all of the members. We Zoom. You can ask questions about techniques, business, somebody's being mean to you, somebody's holding your paycheck, whatever it is. And that's what makes the Academy is so special because I show up, for the members every day.
Yeah.
I just launched a new Design Academy online and a new app. So you can always find me 24 hours a day. Well, you can reach out to me.
Yeah, reach out, but you won't get an answer till after I've done that morning routine.
Yeah, but the members love the new app. So once you join the community, you can download the app, and then it's just a safe space that I wanted to create. That we all can respect each other's ideas, artwork, and we can just all come together and learn.
Awesome. So community is super important to you. That's obvious. Continue to promote this industry that you're in. Amazing. And listen, if you are interested in this at all, reach out to Toby, reach out to me. I can connect you. Other than that, Miss Toby, thanks for joining me again. It was a pleasure, and we will see everybody here next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Women in Paint. We hope you feel compelled to follow your own path and use your compassion, strength, and skills to build a career in the paint industry. And if you like this episode as much as we did, give it a simple click to subscribe so we can invite you back to our next episode. And be sure to share it on all your socials. Remember, Women in Paint, stir up more than just a can of eggshell.